Vanuatu hospital system is under intense pressure tonight. The emergency department is full of earthquake victims dealing with physical injuries and immense trauma, with some patients trapped for hours under collapsed buildings. The death toll sits at 16, but 3 days on, it is still expected to rise. Most New Zealanders have now been evacuated, but the New Zealand Defence Force continues to provide critical emergency relief and assistance on the ground. Senior correspondent Lisette Raymer reports from Port Vila.
Leymara Morris is waiting for major ankle surgery. She'll be in hospital for at least a month, but that is not the cause of even an ounce of her pain.
Unfortunately, the youngest son didn't make it.
Her brother tells us they were in Port Vila on a Christmas shopping trip in the Billabong clothes store when it collapsed. The family of 5 were trapped here for 12 hours, and all the while 13-year-old Peter was crying out to be saved.
They were talking to him, and while they were talking and they were waiting for help, and when they don't hear him talking anymore, they thought that he was asleep.
4 of them were rescued, but only yesterday did they find Peter's body. The shock is still sinking in for everyone.
I thought I was going to die.
The Chimmy family are now homeless and haunted by what they've survived.
When I go back home, I'm afraid.
You feel safer here?
Yeah, I feel safe here.
But here is barely a tent. It is hot and hard going.
We need water, food, and our house is bad.
3-year-old Daniela still can't sleep.
When she sleeps, she doesn't want to sleep by herself. She wants somebody to hold her close so that she could sleep.
The aftershocks are rumbling on, and Henry Galor is among the many locals who are wrestling with waves of anxiety.
I'm getting frightened to see this. I've never seen before. I've never seen, all years past, I never see this in my life.
The New Zealand Embassy building wears the wounds of a near miss.
The Americans had managed to run out, otherwise they would be dead.
The Kiwis were on the top floor when the quake hit.
It got stronger and stronger, so I went under a desk, a round table beside me, and then I was having trouble just staying where, with the table, everything was being flown right around.
New Zealand's emergency response is now being run out of the Commissioner's own home.
Definitely there's some shock.
And through it all, the search and rescue efforts continue. When the hustle of hammers and machinery stops, it is not that work is over, not at all. This is a life-saving mission.
They are still hoping for miracles here in Vanuatu. The search and rescue team at the moment are calling out, if you can hear us, clap 3 times, and then everyone waits in silence for a response and hope that someone is still alive underneath this rubble.
New Zealand and Australian teams among those delicately negotiating rubble, listening for the lightest sounds of survival. But it wasn't a happy ending here. No response, just more silence. Before the call comes to get back to it.
You can feel the exhaustion here. These rescue teams have been working non-stop since they arrived in hot, difficult conditions. The rescue effort is a painstaking process. There is so much at stake. 93 people were evacuated by the New Zealand Air Force last night. One elderly woman was too unstable to travel, but most passengers had relatively minor injuries.
Pretty frightening. A lot of flashbacks to being in Christchurch, 14 years ago. And just the shock and the screaming, the yelling and all that.
Nerves are frayed and the grief is barely registering through the shock.
This is huge because Port Vila is the capital, it's the economic hub, it's the government nerve centre.
Time is doing little to heal at the moment. It is only revealing the true extent of the tragedy.
Lisette joins us now from Port Vila. Lisette, the repatriation flights are continuing alongside the recovery effort. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right, Sam. We're currently speaking to you from one of the main hotels in the area that's really become a bit of a hub for those stranded holiday makers. They learn about when their Mercy flight will be arriving. We've actually just seen a group of Australians ushered out and taken to the airport, so that's good news for them. And New Zealand also has scheduled another flight tomorrow. People are coming here because there's running water, there's also some food. It is comfortable, and that's actually quite reflective of what we're seeing across the island at the moment. You can drive 5 minutes from here and come across broken bridges, damaged infrastructure, cracked roads. But one thing everyone is dealing with across the island are the connectivity issues. The communications are incredibly trying for everyone. That's making the logistics of organising anything near impossible. Red Cross New Zealand have actually just announced that they will be deploying 2 IT specialists to help address that issue. The other thing that is emerging as a big threat for the island now is water contamination. As I mentioned, there's running water, but it's not drinkable. So for those who don't have access to the filtered water, they're having to resort to drink the normal water out of the tap, and we're seeing that the hospitals are now experiencing an influx of people feeling ill from that. So rising issues as this recovery effort continues to unfold.